Well, welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm Wendy Bonilla with Renew Moline, and I'm going to be placing everybody on mute. Speakers, if you're on the agenda to talk, just unmute yourself at the appropriate time. Questions from the reporters or anyone should be submitted through the chat function, and I will be asking those at the end after the presentation. So, Mayor Acree.
Thank you, Wendy. I'm Mayor Acree. I'm the mayor of Moline, Illinois, and I want to welcome everyone to our Forward Launch 100% virtual press conference. We've invited you to join us today to introduce the Forward platform to our business community. As COVID-19 has impacted the operations of our local small businesses, it has become a critically important effort to connect those small businesses to the resources that are available to support them through this extraordinarily challenging time. The cities of Rock Island, East Moline, and Moline quickly recognized that it was not clear to our small business owners which COVID-19 relief programs they were eligible for and which programs would be the most beneficial for their unique business. We all invested time with our local businesses, offering support and guidance through the maze of programs coming from the federal, state, and local levels. The challenge was twofold. There wasn't enough time and staffing to guide each business individually, and some businesses just were not comfortable reaching out for that kind of assistance. Therefore, we needed a tool to scale up our support and offer the flexibility that our small businesses need during this difficult time. I would first like to express my gratitude to our own Renew Moline. The Renew board and leadership team, which Wendy is a part of, have been incredibly helpful to the city and our Moline businesses. Renew has demonstrated that commitment again with their bringing this platform to the Moline businesses. I would now like to introduce the Mayor of Rock Island, Mike Tomes, representing his city and their community partner, DARI, the Development Association of Rock Island. Mayor Tomes? You're on mute.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Acree. I appreciate that very much. Rock Island is proud to be part of this collaborative effort between the cities of Moline and East Moline. Forward is the most robust business recovery programs in the nation. And through this partnership with the two neighboring communities, we are one of the first in the nation to bring this innovative program to our businesses. Rock Island will have 1,100 businesses invited to participate, and we already have heard from most of them that it's working well. We are all working together, and I want to be sure businesses know that they can contact us at any time through this to help them through this process. And I too would like to thank the partnership with DARI and the city to working through this and putting this together. Beth Payne and with DARI and Stacy McIntosh with DARI have done a great job in trying to help put this together, along with Terra Sites with the city of Rock Island. So thank you to those individuals to helping facilitate and getting this kicked off. Now I would like to actually, you can be, let me forget, you can find this for us, this website at rockislandforward.com. Rock Island, all one word, rockislandforward.com, or at rigov.org and at the city's website. So either one of those, you can find this platform to begin the process. And now I'd like to introduce Mayor Reggie Freeman.
Thank you, Mike, and I appreciate that introduction. Also, I'd like to thank the other two municipalities in Moline and Rock Island for this combined effort to bring this program forward. The Livestream Stories platform simplifies the process of business looking for assistance due to COVID-19. These tools help minimize the stress of the business owners and provides a one-stop shop to see what resources are available and helps facilitate the application process. With this program, these businesses, I'm sure they're under a little bit of stress now, but they will be able to go to our website at eastmoline.com or on our Facebook post, and we should be forwarding this program out next week sometimes for our businesses within the city of East Moline. We'd also like to appreciate our economic development team of Tim Kanashu and the partnership with Redeem East Moline for funding this contract with the city and making this process viable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Freeman. And I'd like to thank both my neighboring mayors, Mayor Tomes and Mayor Freeman. Our fates are intertwined. The successes and the struggles of Moline and Rock Island and East Moline are better managed together. And so it's just wonderful that we've been able to do this at the same time together to support our businesses. I would now like to draw your attention to Adnan of Live Stories. We first started working with Adnan last year to make our budget and financial reports easier to explore and understand. When the COVID-19 crisis started to impact our community, Live Stories worked with us to build out a resource center for our residents and city employees. As the crisis continued, Live Stories partnered with us to explore what else we could do to help our community, which led us to envisioning Forward. Adnan is an entrepreneur with a passion for using technology to help solve the world's most pressing social problems. We're excited to have worked alongside Live Stories to launch the Forward platform and look forward to continuing to evolve Forward to meet the evolving needs of our community businesses. Please join me in welcoming Adnan Mahmood of Live Stories.
Thank you, Mayor Acree. I want to just start off by thanking the three cities of Moline, East Moline, and Rock Island to give us this opportunity to work with you guys and to realize this vision you have about how we can use technology to scale your efforts in supporting every business in your community. I'm super excited to share a demo at this moment. I am going to share my screen here, and please give me 1 second while I set that up. Everyone should be seeing a little girl with a US flag on it. I assume people can see that. Someone can give a thumbs up that they can see it. Great, perfect. So, when you get an invitation as a business in these communities, you will receive a username and a login password, and you'll get a link to this page. When you come to this page, you put in your username. So I have a username that I have made up of a fictional company, and open password. Oops, sorry. That's good. Right. So when you log in, the first view you're going to get is a view of the resources that are available to you or community. So I'm logged in as this company called QC Acme Corporation. And on the left side, I have two kind of main areas of the platform, the resource center and a business profile. To start off with the resource center, here are a bunch of resources that are available through to businesses in this location. I think this one's set up to be based out of Moline. And as I click through these, the right side changes, which gives me a little more details. I can also see here, there's a little tag which says whether I'm eligible or not for any of these resources. It starts off with eligible ones, and as I scroll down, it gives me things that I might be eligible for, and then things that I'm not eligible for. And the system does that based on the business profile. So I can come over here and select, filter it down to a specific one, or I can filter it down by type. So I want to look at grants, so I want to look at deferments or credits or loans. So let's say I want to look at the loans. And so now this is filter for only the loans. And again, I can, same thing, click through it. So let's look at Illinois Small Business Emergency Loan Fund, or the Small Business COVID-19 Relief Program. So these are all state resources. We've taken not just local resources, but these are state resources. There is Paycheck Protection Program from federal as well. They're all combined in this one place. I can see information about it. I can click on more details, and it will take me to the detailed page, to the original source. Right. I can also look at the requirements. So for this specific loan program, here are the requirements, and here is how my business lines up against these requirements. I can also look at what can I use this resource for. So this tells me exactly what things I could be using it for. And then if I'm interested in one of these, so let's say I'm interested in this one, you can click on apply, and it will take you straight to the form. So as a business owner, one of the things we keep hearing from them a lot is we get flooded with a bunch of links that are sent to us that tell us, go read all this and figure it out yourself, what's eligible for you. So we hope that this helps them, guide them at least to a quick start. So this is the first thing I want to show, which is the system gives you resources, but it also tells you what things you might be eligible for to reduce the amount of time you're spending. Second thing that we are really excited about, so I'm going to look at this loan that's actually available from the City of Moline, which is called the City of Moline COVID-19 Low Interest Loan Program. Let's say if I'm interested in this, the thing I can do is I can click on apply. Because this is a Moline program and because we have business profile information already, I don't need to send the user to the full application. We can actually do a one-click application where they can just confirm here, and that counts as their commitment to apply for this resource. And we track that. Sorry, this thing got me out again. So once that happens, we track that information, we record it, and we can send all the information we know about that business to the City of Moline. So the user or the business owner doesn't have to go around filling out applications with the same information for every application. This can significantly reduce their time as well. I know we have, and so this one-click application is only available for the local resources because that's the part that the city can control. But I know we have folks from the state as well, so perhaps we can figure out how maybe we can bring the one-click application to state resources as well. The second thing I will show here is a business. So this is where, as a business, you can put in your information. All of this information is then used to create the profile for your business, and then do the eligibility matching. So it's simple stuff like business name, DBA, which industry do you belong in, number of employees, and only a small number of things are required, but more information that the business can put in, the better the algorithm can be in terms of the matching. So you can see we're tracking if you're minority owned or not, contact information, mailing address, the user, like you can change your password from here as well, and then your financials. So the idea is this information is not shared publicly with anyone, any third party. It's only made available to the city, and the city can use this information to design new programs that would be relevant based on where the businesses are. Our goal at Live Stories is to continue to enhance this platform on a frequent basis. We're rolling out new features all the time. We rolled out new features just this week even. And so we're looking forward to continue work with Moline and East Moline and Rock Island to develop this further. As a sneak peek to finish up, I will show you one of the things that we're working on right now that's coming shortly, which is there's going to be a chat feature that's going to be enabled here, which allows you as a business to be able to connect directly with the city in a secure way and ask them questions directly, and they can reply to you as well. So with that, I will wrap up my demonstration, and happy to take questions later when we get to the Q&A portion. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you so much, Adnan, for your hard work on this platform, and thank you to your entire Life Stories team's late nights and wonderful contribution to supporting our local small businesses. The most important role of this platform is to guide our businesses to the resources that are being offered at the federal, state, and local levels to support those businesses through this pandemic. The Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity is a critical resource for the survival of our impacted businesses. I'd now like to introduce Christy Dula. She leads the Office of Entrepreneurship, Innovation, and Technology at DCEO. This bureau is responsible for supporting entrepreneurs, innovators, and small businesses by providing information and resources necessary to launch and expand in Illinois. A little bit about Christy. Prior to her role at DCEO, Christy led network relations at Pritzker Group Venture Capital, where she facilitated relationships for the firm's family of companies and connected them with the firm's wide network of experts, strategic partners, and potential customers. Christy previously served as a strategic executive focused on the tech sector for Kapow, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, Christy, Kapow, an online marketplace and corporate event provider, where she developed sales and solution processes to manage the company's top 10 tech accounts, including Adobe, Apple, and Google. Prior to Kapow, Christy was Vice President of Events and Content Creation at 1871, the Chicagoland Entrepreneurial Center flagship technology incubator. Please welcome Christy Dula, Deputy Director, Office of Entrepreneurship, Innovation, and Technology, Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. Christy?
Thank you so much for the introduction, Mary. Good afternoon. My name is Christy Dula from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, also known as DCEO. I'm glad to join you today on behalf of our director, Aaron Guthrie, and the state of Illinois to celebrate this new joint initiative by our partners from the city of Moline, East Moline, and Rock Island to empower small businesses, which truly are the backbone of our Illinois Quad Cities. The Forward tool will serve as an essential resource for local businesses, helping them identify their eligibility and get help with applications for crucial stopgap assistance from the state of Illinois. What's more, it will help applicants track progress on funding. Funding, which could mean the difference between making payments towards rent and utilities, keeping employees on the payroll, and addressing any number of urgent operational demands facing our businesses. Based on what I hear from businesses day in and day out, I really can't emphasize enough how valuable a resource this is. It's this spirit of innovation and technology, that's my job title, innovation and togetherness, that will help all of us get through this crisis, which has been hard on everyone. At DCEO, we know firsthand how vital emergency funding is, as small businesses all around our state struggle and face the same operational challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic. I oversee the Office of Entrepreneurship, Innovation, and Technology, where my team is constantly looking for new and innovative ways to support and sustain our diverse and vibrant small business community here in the state of Illinois. One of our signature programs is the Network of Small Business Development Centers, or SBDCs. SBDCs are community-based satellite offices providing one-on-one guidance, resources, and training at no cost for small businesses. There are 38 of them located around the state, and in fact, Illinois boasts the largest number of SBDC service centers of any program in the country. With COVID-19 placing hardships on all types of businesses, they've been busier than ever before. The Forward tool will help further the efforts of our very own Western Illinois University Quad Cities SBDC and get businesses real-time information on eligibility and resources available at their fingertips. Like the cities of Moline, East Moline, and Rock Island, our department has been hard at work to give local businesses the support they need to navigate the impact of COVID-19 on their business, their workforce, and their livelihood. Working in partnership with Governor Pritzker and agencies across the state, DCEO has launched several emergency programs to help businesses and communities respond to the economic impact of COVID-19. These programs include our Emergency Hospitality Grants Initiative, which has delivered $14 million in grants for restaurants, bars, and hotels around our state. In fact, this program has moved funding to over 270 cities all across Illinois, including local businesses located in Moline, East Moline, and Rock Island. We've also launched a $20 million downstate small business stabilization program and a $60 million small business emergency loan fund. Information for both can be found on our website. This also includes our Fast Track Capital Grants program announced just this week and dedicating $25 million to accelerate public works projects across the state of Illinois. This program will be made available to towns like yours and will help spur progress on summer construction projects by local governments, in turn creating economic opportunity and jobs for our communities. These programs collectively make over $100 million available to small businesses and communities across the state to weather the impact of COVID-19. And we look forward to new and creative sources of funding that will help us to put more money in the hands of businesses that need it. I want to spend a moment talking with you about Restore Illinois, Governor Pritzker's plan to reopen our state. We've heard from our business partners far and wide throughout the state and recognize their anxiety and concern about timing for reopening. These concerns are valid, and we hear you. The state's reopening plan is focused on safety of all residents and overcoming the threat of this virus so we can get back to normal as quickly as possible. This new framework provides a phased regional approach to transitioning our families, workplaces, retail stores, healthcare services, hospitality and amusement spaces, and schools to a safer new normal as permanent solutions are introduced and implemented to reduce the risk of the future spread of COVID-19. The governor's framework for reopening contains 5 phases designed to ensure the safety of residents by first assessing the prevalence of COVID-19. Each phase includes requirements and guidelines on social distancing, safety precautions, and more that businesses, local governments, and event organizers must continue to follow to operate safely and ensure a safe and gradual reopening. As the governor says frequently in his press conferences, we must continue to rely on data and science to guide our reopening. The Illinois Department of Public Health will be closely monitoring key metrics to help regions move forward safely and as permanent solutions are introduced and implemented to reduce the risk of the future spread of COVID-19. Our state team is committed to keeping all cities in this state of Illinois apprised of our collective process in this phased reopening plan, including new guidance for industries, which we plan to make available in the coming days. For more information on Restore Illinois and our department's programming, I encourage you and your business to visit our website at illinois.gov/DCEO to tune in for our frequent webinars and to follow us on social media. Thank you for your time today. Now I'd like to turn it back over to Mayor Acree, who will provide closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Christy, and thank you to the State of Illinois team for their innovative resources that they brought to our community. I did want to share with the group that 30 of our businesses have already helped the development of Forward by trialing the platform. And at the end of our question and answer period, I'll put up on the screen a list of 4 of those businesses that are willing to answer any questions that you might have regarding their experience using Forward. And then this afternoon, the City of Moline sent emails out to our Moline businesses with their login credentials. And if a business does not receive an ID automatically for login, they can go on the login page and request access to the platform, and we'll make that happen. If you have a question, please submit it on the chat feature of the conference, and Wendy will graciously read those to us so that we can get all those questions answered.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question here, I think for Christy or one of the mayors can chime in if you'd like to. It says, how much funding, this is from WVIK News, how much funding related to COVID-19 has Moline, East Moline, and Rock Island received through Illinois DCEO? Do you know the dollar amounts?
Well, I can, oh, I'm sorry, you go ahead, Christy, because you'll be able to cover us all.
I don't have the numbers readily available, but we can definitely look into it and follow up on our end.
And I can tell you there was a downstate program, and really that was one of the reasons that launched this whole endeavor, because the downstate program that the state of Illinois offered to communities caused a bit of confusion because we're a home rule community. Our businesses were not eligible. So we received separate funding, and our funding was just under $500,000, and it was calculated off of poverty levels and populations. It's kind of a complex calculation, but we received that money to help support, and that came as through HUD as CDBG funding.
Okay. How many businesses are currently enrolled in the Forward platform? For those currently not granted access, how long will it take for them to be approved once they apply? Adnan, do you have a response to that?
Yeah, I can definitely go. So I believe across Moline and Rock Island, we're looking at somewhere in the 4,000 range of businesses, 4 to 5,000 range. Not every one of them will get invitation, mainly because we don't have their email addresses. So we tried to find as many email addresses as we could, and those are the people that are getting the invitations in this wave from both Rock Island and Moline and East Moline starting next week. But as Mayor Acree said, if you do not receive an invitation, please, there's a form on the website that you can fill in requesting access, and we'll make sure to turn that around as quickly as possible.
And I want to offer that all of our businesses' profiles are in the platform now. It's just the matter of linking the business up to their own profile. And then once they log in, they update their profiles to make sure it's the most accurate and up-to-date information to help link them properly to the right programs.
I would add that all of the communities will be doing some promotional activities to create awareness for the platform so the businesses know to go and look for that and ask for a login.
Real quick, Rock Island received almost $700,000 in HUD funding for their COVID relief for the businesses and community.
And to add to that, this is Beth from Dari. Between the Dari and the city, specifically with the city's funding and Dari, we've provided over $120,000 in emergency grant assistance to our Rock Island businesses, nearly 60 to date. Every week that number increases. And we launched our business platform to 118 businesses, and over 500 right now are through the system, and have received nothing but great comments so far from businesses who are easily able to access programs and have been successful in submitting applications.
You know, I want to clarify too that the money that we receive through the HUD programming, that's just that pocket of money that we're allowed to program individually as best suits our community. There's lots of other funding sources that have been supporting our communities from the federal, state, directly from the state, directly from the federal level, and then directly from the local level. So each of us has resources available to our businesses, and there's lots of different funding sources that they come from right now.
We have a question from Marissa at WQAD to the mayors. Do you feel like Rock Island, Moline, and East Moline are being controlled by what's happening in Chicago? With 90% of the state's positive cases there, how frustrating is this?
You know, I'd like to answer that. I appreciate the phased approach that the governor is leading with, and we're fortunate that our particular region is independent of Chicago, so they are not a factor in our opening. But I'd also like to say, you know, no matter what your state style is in opening, and there is a broad spectrum of styles, I think what I'm most concerned with is I've got residents that feel safe right now and they feel comfortable going back to restaurants and their work and all that. And then I have other residents that just need a little bit of encouragement and they'll feel comfortable doing that as well. But I have a large population of residents that are not going to feel comfortable until they are safe. And so that's my goal from my perspective, and that's what I spend my time advocating for, is testing, tracing, creating an environment for my community to be safe, because my business's profit margins are dependent on the full population. My restaurants need more than 50% in their seats in order to make a living, and so that's what my goal is. I'm frustrated by COVID-19, but I'm certainly not frustrated by the safety measures that are in place to protect my residents.
And let me add to that once again, we are separated a little bit from the Chicagoland area. The governor did break it into 4 regions, and the region that we are in to make each step of each phase, it does not include Chicago or the surrounding parts of Chicago. So there could be a time that we move on to the next phase and Chicago does not. Don't know, but at least we are separated as far as that part goes and a little differently. We also, as a community, have been pushing very hard at increasing the testing and with the labs and the different agencies to once again expedite to see how many cases are really out there, what is the severity of it, and so we can move on to the next phase.
Also, well, I'll try to just a little bit on that also. We had just started a meeting with the cities and villages and counties throughout our region, the North Central region. We're working with the Department of Rock Island County Health Department along with the state of Illinois. And what we're doing, we're trying to put our metrics together to see where we're at and where we're headed for. And we're continually to have this meeting as of next week again to prepare for phase 3, 4, and 5. So that's where we're at. We're working at it, and we're putting everything together to see where we're at.
I have a follow-up question from Sarah at the Quad City Times. Of the 400 to 500 businesses in Moline, Rock Island, and East Moline, how many are currently enrolled? How many have been invited to enroll? So that's kind of an individual question for each city, I would say.
Let me take that actually first,
Okay.
Wendy, and then if any of the city folks want to add to that, please go ahead. So the 4,000 to 5,000 numbers that number that I gave before represents the number of business profiles we already have set up in our system. The invitations have only gone out to the folks whose emails we have been able to collect before, and that numbers to about, I believe, around 1,200 to 1,300 across Rock Island and Moline. As Mayor of East Moline mentioned, they will be, those invitations will go out next week. So so the 4,000 to 5,000 is not the folks that were invited because we don't have the email address. So we want to invite all 4,000 to 5,000. So please go to the websites and if you haven't received an invitation, just sign up your email address and we'll get you an invitation out to access. And then I'll let anyone else add to that.
This is Beth from Dari. We are working on a collaboration very, very closely with Rock Island, Moline, and East Moline to develop cohesive marketing material and outreach, so that way all of our businesses and across all 3 communities will know this access is available to them, and that will be rolling out as long as we're all on the same page and get those out on our individual websites. So will be a joint effort across the board as we work to aggressively market and outreach this initiative to all 3 of our city businesses.
Thank you, Beth. We have a question from Spencer Mackey. What are you hearing from business owners during this time as Illinois continues with restrictions?
I'm not sure who wants to answer that first.
Go ahead,
Well,
Mayor
I mean,
Jones.
I think we all have, our the spectrum of it. Some businesses have kind of gotten their stride in it and, are looking long-term at how to navigate this, and others are very, very stressed. It is a difficult time for any small businesses, and it is a unique experience for I guess I describe them as mom and pop shops. This is what they do. This is their life and livelihood. And for them to be under this stress is very disheartening. And that's why we're all here today, is to rally around those businesses to support them, because their successful navigation of this pandemic is our successful navigation of this pandemic. And so it is a really challenging time for many.
It is, and I concur with all of that. And it's just a mixed bag across the cities. Some businesses have been very creative and found other ways to do business. It may not be at the same volume, but they are doing something to make sure they can at least pay the rent and the gas bill. Others have chosen just to shut down 100% and isolate, so to speak, and keep their expenses low. Some are obviously not as well set and maybe struggling to reopen. It's a mixed bag throughout the cities and throughout the different types of businesses. And as Mayor Acree mentioned, we're here to try to help them survive and grow in the future. And so wherever we can help, please reach out and we will do our best to make that happen.
We have a question for Mayor Freeman from WVIK. Have you talked with the counties in the Peoria area who are working together on a reopening plan? And if so, what are you hearing about that?
We have not personally, at least I have not personally talked to them. I've received all the information from their plans of trying to reopen. But I think what they're doing is just like what I had mentioned earlier, is that we're looking at the point of our immediate area of Rock Island County to correspond with each city and municipality, townships, counties, to come up with our information to address the point of trying to reopen. I believe every Illinois county and municipality and so forth, through Illinois Municipal League, we've reached out and we've expressed our interests and our concerns, and some have possibly given our opinions of what we feel that would benefit the Rock Island County and our immediate area, to the governor, to our state legislators and so forth. So no, personally I have not talked to Peoria, but I have seen the information, and they're looking at their area and we're looking at our area.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone, all of our speakers and all of our press that has taken the time to join us today to learn a little bit more about this. I really appreciate your engagement in this, because you're part of our voice to reach out to our businesses to get them to this resource and help them get the resources that they need to navigate this. So if there aren't any other questions, I'm gonna share my screen so that you can see these business names and contacts in case you're interested in getting their perspective. Just take me a second. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so that's it. I'll just ask Wendy to leave the meeting up for maybe another 60 seconds, so that if anybody wants to write down these addresses, these phones or emails, they can.
Thank you,
everybody.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.